This is an example. I said, why didn't I ask her right away? Because I didn't think of it. Yeah. She was making my thoughts going in other directions. And you can then say, was she doing that on purpose? Or what was it that she made her suddenly?
I've started to think that I'm a young, newly educated GP, and I've worked in a lot of different settings, and it's a lot of new patients coming to see me. And my objective every time is when the patient leaves this room, I should have learned something about him. I should have learned something about his life, or his way of thinking, his family, or his work situation. I should have learned something about and found out what kind of person, what kind of because I think that's very important that patients feel that you're interested.
Yeah, one way I found to open that door is I'll often, you ask them about their work, you ask them about their families, those are all good. Many times asking about their hobbies, what do you do for fun? That can teach you a lot. Sports, or whatever it is,
Yeah, I had a patient now when you bring that up. But it was just the patient I had her only once. It was we have duties, shared duties, so it wasn't one patient, I saw her only once. She came for pains. She had severe pains. And we talked for a while, and it was really hard. And after a while I tried to ask her, when do you feel good, or what is good in your life? And she said, nothing. Well, but I mean, if you think of it, maybe not the last days or last weeks, but before, was there a moment when you felt good? No. Is there? No. She couldn't think of anything that made her happy or that
sounds silly, severely depressed.
Yeah, really. And that simple question, I couldn't. Before I got these answers, I couldn't see that was the problem. It was all about pain. It's simple, but nowhere.
So, the idea is to give an example. It's your turn.
Oh,
Yeah, we have it.
my turn.
Yes.
All right.
I think we should try to get through it.
One technique that I use sometimes with people is what in Japan they call the 5 whys. So somebody will say something to you, and then you ask, well, why was that? And then they'll answer, and you say, well, why was that? And you do it 5 times. You have to use it carefully, because for some patients they'll think you're not listening to them or you're just trying to irritate them. But what it helps often if you have that approach in mind is it helps to get to deeper meaning issues. I mean, I had a woman last week who I just met who's got a very long list of problems. She has a very gross, what I would call intention tremor. She's terribly anxious. And I said, have you ever had a time in your life when you were happy or in good health? I can't remember one. I said, well, how about as a child? Oh, yeah, that was fun. Well, when did that change? When I got married. Well, let's talk about that. So that's what we did. And so you kind of keep peeling the layers away. And the other challenge, of course, in family medicine is you may have 6 to 15 minutes to do this. I mean, a psychiatrist usually have 50 minutes or an hour. And, there's an old saying in the mental health world that you never want to open up a wound that you cannot close before the session is done. How do you do that in 6 to 15 minutes? It's tough.
You have the advantage of you can invite people coming back, and they have time to something happening between the sessions.
Yeah, there's a book called the 15-Minute Hour by have you seen that? By Marion Stewart and Joe Lieberman, and it talks about how you can actually do a psychotherapeutic intervention in 15 minutes.
It's one of the best books I've read.
Yeah, it's very practical. Very good.
They have an acronym,
BAVE, yeah. Hit the background, check out the affect, ask what's troubling you the most, how are you handling it, and then express empathy. So
sometimes feel that it's difficult with 15 or 10 minutes when you, if the patient starts crying, you have to wrap them up and send them out of the door.
That's not easy, and not if you have then the next patient.
Yes, it's hard. But you know what I'm impressed by? One of the things I've been doing in this role with Waka is I travel a lot. I'm going to all these countries. I always make it a point to try to get some time with the GP in their practice, watching them work. And I've done this in about 45 countries now in the last 2 years. Fascinating. Because what all good GPs are able to do is somehow in that 10 to 15 minutes, they actually do that very well. They allow the patient to open up, and they find some way to bring it to closure again so that they can walk out the door. But it's always tied to, well, I'll see you next week again. Or why don't we talk by phone in 2 days? Or it's the sense that it's a continuous conversation. It's a real skill. It's a real art.
When you talk about the time limit, always make a point to, we have the students in the last semester of medical school. I always make a point of saying, yes, most have 10 or 15 minutes, but that's planning.
Yes.
Nothing prevents you from doing 30 minutes if you think it's necessary.
Absolutely.
And if once a week you run over time because it's necessary, do it, makes you a better doctor.
We have a little bit longer normally in Sweden. We don't have any very short sessions. No, we usually have 15 to 20, 30 minutes of patient. It depends on what type of problem it is.
How many visits?
Yeah, we have the list. So that also means we have to do it all in one session.
Follow such a patient for 5 years and see whether some real diseases would be found if the patient was diagnosed with colon cancer or hypothyroidism or something. So it was only unexplained to the physician, but it was unexplained. So I think sort of measure could be constructed for those patients, which are very important patient group for GPs.
I still think what you measure is the kind of DP and not necessarily the relationship.
Yeah,
You measure different, you would be able to put DPs in different boxes, but I'm not sure you can say anything.
of course it's an indirect measure, but to be able to measure something for those patients, so of course you can interview them. That's always, if you have that possibility, there should be an external person to interview and that quite time consuming and that's no easy to do.
Not easy to
On
do.
the large scale at least.
Let's go a little bit back to Europe. What do you think Europe is good for? For when you think
It's a
of
really good proxy
relationships.
for a good relationship. I think it's a really good proxy.
Proxy measure.
It's a proxy measure.
How many questions does it have nowadays? It's 23?
It's 23, but
23.
well,
This is short form.
there is
I don't know the short form. 10-minute. Yes, we're getting there. That is short.
yes, you can do it shorter.
13 is the short version. 13. And that is then selected so that it's not so much about the environment, it's about the doctor patient. Because some of the 23 tell about how easily you are reachable and
75, yes.
yeah.
And the person who cares 17 overall. Yes.
And that has been translated into many languages. We even have EQuiP in Finnish. And
Used in Qatar also. Spread really widely.
yes, it's when we developed it in the 90s. I think at that point it was translated into 9 languages. That was also done in EQuiP.
I'm very happy with it.
Patient comes to you when he has seen one of your colleagues before for the same problem. The question could already arise. Why are you coming to me? Maybe it's my practice day today and the other colleagues work tomorrow. That might be a reason, or there might be something else.
There's also the opportunity to use, I think some of the quality circles use complaints officers, and they have a system of complaints where patients can leave an anonymous complaint or they can actually make an actual complaint. Of course, there's a hierarchical issue and challenges associated with it, but anonymous complaints can be encouraged and responded to appropriately.
On practice level, or it's new on the net,
On the net,
where you
yeah,
can judge your
in
GP.
Canada, we have a judge your GP. We're actually all told never ever to look at it. It's only negative comments that are on there.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
Why don't you look at those?
Well, there have been suicides amongst physicians for people have used social media as a way to harass their physicians, as a way to, the same way as companies can post their positive reviews, individuals can get multiple individuals to post negative reviews, and very difficult to deal with appropriately. So all of the methods are very challenging because of the private and confidential nature of
It also says that you can only work or draw conclusions from a system that you are confident on. If you have something that is happening on the internet and you have no idea what it is and you have a negative feeling about it, then you will never do anything with it. So it won't work.
So it's not about complaints, it's also about stimulating positive responses and trying to get feedback about what you're doing well so that you can continue to do it well.
That's the nice thing about the EuroPep. You were using it also. The EuroPep is like a warm shower. Because for 90% it's very nice. You get all kinds of nice remarks. But also you get the duration time waiting in the waiting room. And you get also some remarks that might stimulate you a bit. So in the warm shower you get some impulses. And that it works very well.
What is interesting in your